Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Swanton Village Board of Trustees for Monday, May, March, I'll get it right, March
Getting there.
9th, 2026. I'm standing in tonight, so you gotta forgive me. We got a crowd tonight because it's all sunny out. Anyway, first order of business is, would you please rise and play the pledge of allegiance? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have anything to adjust on our agenda this evening?
No, sir.
Do we need a executive session or anything?
No.
No? All right. Wow. Public comment. Luckily, we have some public tonight. Mr. Paxman?
Yes, Madam Paxman. Wanted to make sure everybody's aware that the Memorial Day Parade is Monday, May 26th at 2 p.m. If anybody is interested in participating in it or helping to organize it, please reach out to myself or Joel Clark from the town, and we will get you involved. And my last question was, is there anything with regards to Jones Court stormwater yet?
No, but we will be sure to update you as soon as we have something, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I do have a question. Do you have the date for Flags for Veterans? So,
Flags for Veterans will be the 24th,
okay,
starting at 8:30.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all I got.
You're all set, huh?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You can hang around, you know.
Oh, I'm going to.
You okay. So the next item on our agenda is to swear in our newly elected officials. And Diane, you're gonna take that?
We'll swear in David.
We have David Winchester as village president, Damon Broderick as our new village trustee to replace Adam Paxman. Diane, again this year, and I assume she's not gonna be here.
Betty and I both have been sworn in already, so we could conduct business.
Okay, so,
So we'll swear David in. So raise your right hand and your oath.
I, David Winchester, do solemnly swear that I will be true and faithful to the state of Vermont, and that I will not directly or indirectly do any act or thing injurious to the Constitution of government or government thereof. So help me God, under pains and penalties of perjury, dated at Swanton, Vermont, this 9th day, March 2026. I, David Winchester, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of village president for 1 year for the state of Vermont, and will thereon do equal right and justice to all persons to the best of my judgment and ability according to law. So help me God, under the pains and penalties of perjury, dated at Swanton, Vermont, this 9th day of March 2026.
Great. Thank you. And Bill will come up. Dana.
I will be true and faithful to the state of Vermont, and that I will not directly or indirectly do any act or thing injurious to the Constitution or government thereof. So help me God, under pains and penalties of perjury, dated at Swanton, Vermont, this 9th day of March 2026. I, Damon Broderick, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of village trustee 3 years for the state of Vermont, and will therein do equal right and justice to all persons to the best of my judgment and ability according to the law. So help me God, under the pains and penalties of perjury, dated at Swanton, Vermont, this 9th day of March 2026.
Thank you.
Congrats to both.
Congratulations, Dan.
Welcome to the family.
You've already been signed.
As village clerk, I think, so, sworn.
Yep, it's David's turn.
Just he's sworn in, it's back to him.
Okay,
So, David, it's your game now.
All right, so,
Congratulations.
all right, thank you, everybody. Number 6, appoint a treasurer for the village of Swanton for 2026 and swear in.
I nominate Diane Day for the position of treasurer for the village of Swanton.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a first and a second to appoint Diane Day for Village of Swanton, Vermont treasurer. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Congratulations, Diane, and thank you. Number 7, appoint new trustees, trustee Broderick as police and fire commissioner.
I move that we appoint trustee Damon Broderick as our new police and fire commissioner.
I second that.
All right, we have a first and a second to appoint trustee Broderick as police and fire commissioner. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Congratulations, trustee Broderick. Number 8, motion that the Swanton Village Board of Trustees adopt Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns Rules of Order for the Rules of Procedure for Village Trustees for upcoming year through March 2027.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a first and a second to make the motion to adopt the Vermont League of Cities and Towns Rules of Order for 2026-2027. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 9, review and discuss 2026 official voting results. Okay. Official return of voting results. Official returns of votes, annual Swanton Village meeting, election of village officers, this day, March 3rd, 2026, or the March 3rd, 2026, ballot accountability. Number of voters on checklist, 1,671. Number of ballots counted, including absentees, 370. Number of absentee ballots counted, 60. I, Diane Day, Swanton Village Clerk, hereby certify that the results of the election of officers by Australian ballot at the annual Swanton Village meeting held in Swanton Village Complex in the county of Franklin and state of Vermont on the 3rd day of March, AD 2026, were as follows. Village President for 1 year, David Winchester, 297, write-ins 26, overvotes 0, undervotes 47, total ballots counted 370. Village Clerk for 1 year, Diane Day, 343, write-ins 1, overvotes 0, undervotes 26, total ballots counted 370. Collector of delinquent taxes for 1 year, Betty Cheney, 343 votes, write-ins 3, overvotes 0, undervotes 24, total ballots counted 370. Village Trustee for 3 years, Damon Broderick, 309, write-ins 3, overvotes 0, undervotes 58, total ballots counted 370. And that is the official returns for the votes for 2026.
You got the other one.
That was just for officers.
You gotta read the other one.
Oh, thank you very much. There is a second page. Okay, official returns for voting results. Official return of votes, annual Swanton Village meeting budget vote, March 3rd, 2026. Ballot accountability. Number of voters on checklist, 1,671. Number of ballots counted, including absentees, 370. Number of absentee ballots, 60. I, Diane Day, Swanton Village Clerk, hereby certify that the results of the budget vote by Australian ballot at the annual Swanton Village meeting held in Swanton Village Complex in the county of Franklin, state of Vermont, on the 3rd day of March, AD 2026, were as follows. Article 2, General Fund, $180,220. Yes votes, 281. No votes, 88. Undervotes 1, total ballots counted 370. Article 3, Highway Fund, $751,290. Yes votes 289, no votes 80, undervote 1, total ballots counted 370. Article 4, Fire Department, $92,388. Yes votes 304, no votes 66, undervotes 0, total ballots counted 370. Article 5, Police Budget, $1,139,658. Yes votes 217, no votes 151, overvotes 1, undervote 1, total ballots counted 370. Article 6, taxes due on October 15th, yes votes 272, no votes 97, undervote 1, total ballots counted 370, and that ends the articles.
That was a pretty good turnout for,
It was.
just a regular town meeting.
Yeah.
Is that about almost 100?
22%.
22%.
22%.
Is that like average for us?
It's a little higher than that.
Is it? Okay, good.
It seemed like it was about 100.
Yeah, it was good, it was good.
So that's pretty good. It seems like it was barely 15% last year, or 12 last year. Number 10. Approve and accept minutes from Monday, February 9th, 2026, and minutes from the informational meeting held Monday, February 23rd, 2026.
I move that we approve and accept the minutes from Monday, February 9th, 2026, and the minutes from the informational meeting on Monday, February 23rd, 2026, as presented.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a first and a second to accept minutes from Monday, February 9th, 2026. Minutes for the informational meeting held Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Any further discussion on those minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Motion carried, thank you. Number 11, approve and accept village warrants for Thursday, March 5th, 2026.
I will move that we approve and accept the village warrants through Thursday, March 5th, 2026.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a first and a second to accept the warrants through Thursday, March 5th. Any further discussion?
No, Lynn answered all my questions I had.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 12, review and sign Vermont Bond Bank loan documents for 124 First Street Electric Facility. That's you, Lynn?
Yep, Diane's got the documents. So the bond sale's happening middle of next week.
The rate's pretty good. Lower
So
than-
I got the rates today. The rate came in at 4.345%.
It's 5 something last year, right?
I think we were projecting it
Yeah.
a little high. So the documents that we've got are gonna be
You said 4.35?
4.345.
4 or 5. Okay.
So that'll make, it's a principal payment annually of $249,000. And then the interest obviously goes down as, the balance of the debt goes down. But for this year, we will have due in May of '26, an interest payment of $65,815.89. And in November, we will have an interest payment of $162,285.75. And then it goes down from there, from the 162. So there is this document is the resolution and certificate that we'll have to sign. And then the next document is Diane will sign, which is the treasurer's certificate. And the receipt, I believe, is you, David. The receipt, nope, the treasurer, so Diane will sign that one also. And then the actual geo bond agreement would be the next one. And then the certificate of registration, Diane signs, and the last page is the loan agreement. So that would be David and Diane would sign that. Do we need a motion for this to
Yeah.
approve it,
Yeah.
to sign?
Just a site, yeah.
Yep, so,
Alright, so I make a motion that, David and Diane sign the, bond agreement on behalf of the board of trustees.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second to have David and Diane sign the loan payment or the bond bank loan documents. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you,
yeah,
everyone.
do you want me to wait till the end of the meeting?
Yeah.
I'll put it on pages.
There's a lot of little red tags there.
Yep.
All this stuff. Thanks.
Number 13, electric rate case discussion.
There should be one for everybody.
I don't wanna see it. I already have.
What's that? Ooh. Well, I was actually thinking it was going to be worse.
So, they are planning, VEPS has been working on this with me, and, we're planning to file this next Monday. So the top page shows, I mean, the bottom numbers, 30.8%, which is pretty high. If you go through the expense changes, and it shows you how much the far right, how much of that is driving the rate case. The big hit is the change in net income,
Can you get that?
is 28%, over 28% of the rate case. And that's driving, from 2025, we had a huge net loss, which was speared by, not only the loss of the hydro dam rubber bladder, but also the fact we had a drought last year. So we have to kind of try to recoup that. If not for that, our rate case would be like in the 3 to 4% range.
So this isn't just because of the dam broke. We also have the drought situation as well.
Yeah.
Had the dam
Right,
get
right.
hit pretty hard.
I mean, if the dam had still been there, we still would have ended up with some on the market because of the drought that we had last summer. So, each one of these items is what's driving. You'll see the depreciation is a negative 1.18. That's because when we removed the rubber dam from service, that was like 93% or $93,000 a year in depreciation. Plus we added all the meters for AMI. So those are the two big hits. And with that net, it brought us to a negative 83,000 that we will have in depreciation for 2026.
Are you still paying on the dam?
Yes. We have a long time left on that, because that was a 20-year note.
For public.
The second page is like the details of that. And it goes basically by the FERC summary accounts, power generation, purchase power, it goes right down through each of them.
Is this,
And
I'm sorry, is this the current power generation, or is this a screenshot in time prior to the
So
weekend that
what
started
they-
happening?
so what they do is they take our audited financial statements, so they took our 12/31/25 numbers, and then they do what's known and measurable. So like for purchase power, power supply did what our purchase power need to be for the test year. So the test year is the following 12 months.
Okay,
And then they looked at, like for each one of the expense accounts, from like operation and maintenance. I had to give them a 5-year average. So say we spent, $500,000 at the hydro plant in 2025, is that what we normally do? Or was that a bloated year, or was it lower? So that's why they also wanna look at what's the 5-year average, instead of, your expenses peaking and then dropping off. So that all goes into what they use as a test year number.
Okay.
And they do that for each one of the, power generation, purchase power is separate, transmission, customer accounts expense, A&G, they go right down the line and look at those heavy hitters. But that's where you can see, where it says per audited financials, and then the increase and decrease, and then the pro forma cost of service.
Okay.
So that pro forma cost of service is what our rate case numbers are.
Gotcha.
So the bottom line is, this rate case would generate almost $2.2 million worth of revenue for the electric department.
Okay.
So our retail revenue, is, for our audit, was almost 7 million. And then this rate case would generate another 2.2 million on top of that.
Gotcha.
Which will allow us to pay our bills.
Yes, so power supply is not completely 100% done. What I'm looking for tonight is a motion to authorize us to file this rate case. I had a phone call with VEPSA this morning, and what I don't want is for you guys to approve like the 30.8 and then have power supply come in a little bit higher. So Steve recommended we round it to 31%, and then he's hoping their final power supply number will be lower, and we'll file for under this number. But we've got to have a not to exceed percentage.
So you're saying up to 31%?
Yeah, and then, the process will be, they'll file it, we'll have 45 days, and then we can put a surcharge in effect to start collecting the money as we go through the process, because this rate case is gonna take, I would guess, 7 or 8 months.
Okay. Did we look to see how much that's going to impact the
So it will put
the
us.
ratepayers?
Yeah, it'll put us about in the middle of the pack of the utility listing that I think you guys have probably seen.
Yep.
It'll put us right about in the middle. And then there's negotiation, right? Like, the state has so many days to look at it and they'll hold discovery, they'll probably open an investigation. It's a whole legal process that goes through, and there'll be rebuttal, and it's a whole back and forth negotiation. And then you'll come to a proposal for decision once everything is hashed out. Once the rate case is approved, if they approve it for less than it was filed for, then we have to go through the process of refunding the difference to our customers. So, yeah, I mean, and 9 times out of 10, what you file for is not what you get. So, I asked Steve today, like, what were the big items that he felt could stub us up in his power supply. We're on the market for a lot right now, with short-term contracts and everything, because we don't have the hydro at full capacity. So that's a risk. And it's a risk that we don't know how the department and the commission are gonna handle. But having to refund your customers, every utility has to go through that pretty much.
We've been through it before, right, Lynn?
We can't wait 7 months.
Right, and that's the thing, that's
A
why,
lot of business.
so what's different between munis and co-ops versus IOUs is that we're allowed to start collecting 45 days in. So we'll do that. The cumbersome thing about if you have to go back and start refunding customers after the rate case is finalized is your customers that move out, is tracking them down, because you don't always have good addresses. But, you know, it's doable. We've had to do it before with our rate cases here.
And this is the first rate case, 10 years?
We did one last year for 3%.
3%, okay.
But the last one that went into this depth was 2016.
Yeah, 10 years.
We were the lowest for a few months.
Yep. But does anybody have questions? Like, this exhibit, like, these are some of the exhibits that will be filed along with testimony and legal comments, and so we have an attorney involved in this. So it's just like a whole legal process to do this.
With the 30%, how confident is that it's gonna go through?
They'll definitely open an investigation.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll ask the hard questions, you know, especially because it's the power supply related to the loss of generation up there is a huge piece of it. They're gonna wanna know what our plans are for the plant. And, you know, and I don't know, they look at, you know, if they look at each of the line items and they're like, well, you know, this line item's higher than the 5-year average, then you gotta defend your case, basically, you know, and defend why you wanted that number and not the lower number. And, we've had to justify our, you know, like in the office, we split people's salary on a flat rate. We've had to justify that on why we're using this percentage instead of that percentage. And, we don't have a union, so that makes it a little difficult when you're looking out as far as salary increases. Benefits didn't take a huge hit this year, so we won't have to defend that most likely because it was pretty much a wash. But, you know, I think the power supply may be a stumbling block, and, you know, we'll defend what we've gotta do, and, you know, they'll look at, you know, that net income, you know, that loss from 25 and having to recoup that, you know, they're gonna probably look at that. You know, they'll ask, you know, why, but it's pretty simple, like, the majority of that was power supply, cause you can see it. It's, you know, almost a 1-for-1, so.
There's nothing to compare this to. The PUC has not seen a case like this. They just haven't. It's unique.
Ironically, when Swanton went to it was the Public Service Board back then, for the rate case to file to get the bonds for the hydro upgrade in the early 90s, they had a rate increase similar to this. And Ennis Gibney, I believe is who it was, told George Legue, because he was the manager back then, if you can get your voters to pass that bond, we'll give you your rate case. And they got the bond passed, but so, you know, way back then we saw a huge rate case. We haven't seen rate cases like that since in Swanton. I mean, other utilities have filed some pretty large ones, but not us.
But that investment led to a long-term, stable,
Yeah.
slow rate.
Yeah.
So you need a motion.
Do you have anything to add, Bill?
No, just a motion not to exceed, and this is, this is gonna be a long time. Full investigation, which it should be. It's gonna be interesting.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize Lynn to apply to the state of Vermont for an electric rate case increase of a maximum 31%. Should that would do it, right?
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a first and a second to allow Lynn to submit the rate case to of not to exceed 31% for the electric rate for Swanton Village Hydroelectric. All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Motion carried, and thank you everyone, and thank you, Lynn. Best of luck to all of us.
It's big.
So you're gonna file that tomorrow?
No, they'll file it next week on Monday.
And then it's 45 days after that.
45 days after that. So we'll try to, because we bill every week, we try to sync it up to the first of the month.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay, moving right along. Number 14, approve and adopt TA 60 annual town financial plan, certify compliance for town road and bridge standards and network inventory.
Diane, you have all that, right?
I have all the documents, it's kind of a annual thing that we do for bridges, town road and bridges standards, right, Lynn?
Yep.
Network inventory, so. Just need a motion to approve.
And then there's, the TA 60 has to be signed
Yes.
by the board.
So the TA 60 annual town financial plan, town road and bridges.
Oh. Yeah, okay. I move to approve and adopt TA 60 annual town financial plan, certify compliance for town road and bridge standards and network inventory.
I'll second.
All right, we have a first and a second to adopt the TA 60 annual town financial plan, certify compliance for town road and bridge standards and network inventory. Any further discussion on the topic of bridge standards and network inventory? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Number 15, Ormond E. Croft Hydroelectric Generating Facility Dam Repair Update, Bill.
So many updates. First and foremost, we are in emergency action protocol effective late this afternoon, which means the tail race is above a certain amount, and it's way above that right now. So the ice flow, the ice jam up above released late this afternoon, and that's what's causing that. So far, downstream impact for ice is not significant, but it could be. It certainly could be. So we will be in EAP in all likelihood for the next few days, or could be, or we'll go in and out of it. So notifications on our end, the book is in front of me, have all been made. It's pretty standard. We do it essentially every year or multiple times a year. So we have one person with a downstream impact. That person's been notified with an in-person visit by our fire department. So they're notified. Whether they choose to leave or not is totally up to them. So our only obligation for FERC and the EAP is notification. So that's been done, and now it's a wait and see. Fire department's on board. They know that they had a conversation today. They're having a conversation tonight, making sure the boats are ready to go for any type of rescue that's needed, and they're equipped and ready to go. So, okay. So I also want to take this opportunity to remind folks again that we had an engineering study in October of 25. Regardless of whether or not the rubber dam is on site, does not impact downstream flood impact. It's water in, water out. So there is no difference. What can be the difference is it was a very cold year. I'm sure some of that ice chunks are 2 to 3 feet. Yeah. And if they release at the wrong time or all together or jam at a certain location when there's high flows, we could have flooding on 78 or beyond. But it has nothing to do with a dam. If anybody wants to request a copy of that report, I think we posted it at one point online, but maybe not. It's a 2-page document that just kind of shows the science behind that determination.
Oh, we did post that, yeah.
I think we did. So if somebody has questions about it, then we can certainly post it again. In terms of the process, so the overall process, we did the RFQ for an alternatives assessment. We have evaluated those over a series of months. We had many outstanding engineering firms visit us. We did a selection. 5 total firms submitted applications for consideration, and including Trustee Kelleher, we had an internal committee and we selected the top 3. Those top 3 now are getting an additional homework assignment that kind of says, okay, now finalize, and in fairness, right, you don't want to ask all of them to do that because they're doing this engineering for free. These last 3 groups, final steps are essentially give us some more detail on what your alternative assessment will look like, as well as a ballpark cost at 15% project finish. So we kind of get a sense, and we can then further evaluate and pick the firm based on that. So We'll get that, again, our goal is to get everything in front of the trustees by April 13th. That's when Celeste Fay from Village, our owner's rep, will be coming in to present, and that at the trustees meeting will be all things hydro. If for some reason we're not quite there yet, we can still kind of give you a concept of what we hope to achieve. So I guess let's just be very candid about this conversation. This rate increase is almost largely solely based on power supply. We're really going to pivot as soon as we select somebody, give them a change order, and ask them to engineer immediately something that will alleviate some of this pressure. We're not going to see a long-term solution for years, 3 to 4 years in all likelihood, for a fully engineered solution. We have so many things in the interim related to our 401 water quality, to FERC. I have a meeting with our FERC attorney tomorrow morning, and it's just the same conversation we've been having all along. At this point, we may want to consider holding both processes in abeyance until we get all of this figured out. And it just delays our licensing, but and we're still operating, FERC anyway, under an annual license that will continue where we have full permission. But until we know what the concept is that you're going to agree upon, we can't really engineer a final design. We don't know if it's going to be the same restoration of to 190, 15.5 feet. Maybe 12 feet's enough, maybe 13, maybe 11. Nobody knows at this point. The most important part of this conversation is it is going to cost us money. We're going to talk about the powerhouse next, but we're just talking about specific to the dam and the ability to generate. It is going to cost us a significant amount of money to get to the point where we can restore generation to a respectable fashion temporarily. So for conversation's sake, say $1 million. We're paying way more than that in power supply. This fix is going to pay for itself pretty much immediately. So we're thinking something along the lines of, we talked about it before, flashboards with hopefully an installation before fall of this year. And the back of the envelope configuration is that might restore temporarily 70% of our ability to generate. That's massive.
It is.
That is massive. Now, here's the bad news. That's not all year round. We don't think these temporary solution is going to withstand what we're seeing go over the dam right now in ice chunks. So in all likelihood, our workers are going to get out there, they're going to cable up on safety, and they're going to remove that right before we get the ice out, or before we get the high flow. So those are some of the unknowns at this point. But those concepts will give you a full briefing with some experts. I used to say I knew nothing about it. I know a little bit now. I'm at 1% of knowledge capacity in the world of hydro, but we're getting there. So the parallel track to all of that stuff is the powerhouse. So we right now, you all know, we have the grant in place. We're doing an evaluation. We have contracts in place right now with Fairbanks Mills, great company out of the St. Johnsbury area, super knowledgeable. Dan and his team have been pleased. So we have contracts for not to exceed $70,000 for Unit 4. We have contract not to exceed $19,000 for Unit 3. Unit 3, well, let's just walk down the line. Unit 5 is now back online, so the little 0.5 megawatt Osberger unit at the dam site, back online. But we're in EAP. Anytime you're above 116 feet elevation, you can't use it because the flow is too much. So it's working and it's in great condition. It's just offline due to the flood. And I bet it'll be 6 weeks, 8 weeks before we can utilize that again. Going down Unit 1 is good to go. Again, with the tail race so high, it's not producing as much as it could be, but it's online and working. Unit 2, again, we have issues with that. We think electrical, because that's also like Unit 1, a 1 megawatt unit, that's gonna kind of wait. It's gonna just sit there for a little while. Plus the exciter kind of burned up last time we tried to start it. So moving down the line, Unit 3, they came in and engineered. So what happened is this unit, we reverted back after a wobble last year to the old historic wooden blocks to kind of get it operational again. And it was for a while, but there was some issues and it overheated, and the wooden blocks are they're no longer any good. So they re-engineered the collar that fit up further on the shaft and then actually put some bracing in, and that thing is running, according to Dan and his team, better than it ever has. Now, as of this morning, when I was up there, it wasn't online due to an electrical issue. However, it's now fully back online. So Unit 1 and Unit 3 are operational, and we're about 2.2 megawatts, which I know sounds low compared to the world we used to live in, but in our current world, that's reasonable.
More than 100% before.
Yes, so Unit 4 is spinning. It's not tying on. There's an electrical issue. Basically, it's like we talked about before, and I like Lynn's analogy. Same thing, water system was getting tired. We did an upgrade. Wastewater was getting tired and non-functional, no operational centrifuge. We did an upgrade. This was overdue for an upgrade. And we're at that point now where you're talking about PLCs and other components that are electrical that are not only tired, they're in the nursing home. And they're probably
Waiting for the graveyard.
they're really close to waiting for the graveyard. The experts from ELS will be back on site tomorrow to try and diagnose that. But if we get 4 up and running, we still, at the end of the day, remember the remaining root cause is the geometry of the intake, and we only have so much intake based upon the new normal level. But in a perfect world, we could get up to 4 to 5 megawatts with everything running, and that's our goal. So that's not bad. That starts to meet 40, 45, 50% of the load that we provide, especially in the shoulder season when it's not so cold. We'll go even further, but that's kind of where we're at with hydro operations. On the good news, mixed news side, we are beating down every door imaginable for all grants and being as creative as possible. I can't tell you how many phone calls we've had and meetings. Shout out to regional planning, both Nora Brown and Marlena Valenta, incredible assistance tracking stuff down. That's the good news. We heard from Representative Becca Ballott's office today that we didn't even make the first cut for congressionally directed spending. They had over 90 applications and 30 continue, and we weren't one of them. And it's really hard to demonstrate what the impact is. We're not going to stop. There's 2 other congressional members, and we're knocking on their door now, and Senator Welch is next, and his deadline is the 25th. We're going to go through the same process asking for money. We did have a very promising conversation with a nationally recognized tax attorney for a combination of investment tax credits and/or production tax credits. Those will take place likely in 26, more in 27. We're talking millions of dollars. And if you get the one-time tax production, if you get the one-time investment tax credit, it's not like normal tax credits. You actually get a giant check from the federal government. Okay. If you want to play the long-term game and get more money, then you do the production tax credits based on generation. But you have to trust that the system's going to last the 12, 15, or 20 years and not go bankrupt or change course. So you can really hurt yourself. So anyway, I just want people to know that we are shaking every tree that we possibly can to mitigate some of the pain that we're going to have for the foreseeable future. And everything that I'm talking about is not free. So there's a cost just to get to the point where we can produce the kind of power that we hope to with an interim solution by the end of this year. That's probably about it for hydro. Sorry, it's not better news, but that's it truly is the hand that we have been dealt, and how we deal with it is critically important. Because I think, David, you said it. We went through this pain a long time ago, and the rate leveled out. And in the long game, the same thing will repeat itself. But we have to recognize that we're going to have to spend a significant amount of money to get back to the point where it levels out. Any hydro questions?
All set?
God, yes.
Number 16, village manager update.
Okay, we're just kind of going to go around the horn here. Cybersecurity, you've heard me talk about it in this room. We need to migrate to a .gov account, and we're going to do that soon. In addition, all of you, including the 4 of you, are gonna have to do passwords at a much higher encryption standard, so you'll see an email come out at some point about that, and we're all gonna have to do that. And that's based on just good practices and the cybersecurity audit that we had. VEPSA on their end, because they do the cybersecurity for all the electric departments, and help us close the loop on any enterprises, so a little bit of water and wastewater included. They're tightening up a lot of things on their end now, it's our job to do it on our end. So we also have a meeting, it's this week or next week, I can't remember, I think it's this week, with the secretary, commissioner level of digital services in Vermont, and we're trying to see if we can get funding to the tune of 100,000, 200,000, no match, no strings attached, to help us improve our SCADA system, which we need it for both water, wastewater, and electric. So if that happens, that's a pretty good thing, and we certainly need to improve our approach there on our SCADA as well. So that's cybersecurity. Let's switch to Lower Swanton Dam. I know that you like to have that dialogue. The state of Vermont has reached out. They're going to perform an inspection of the Lower Swanton Dam on July 21st of 2026. That's every 3 years. The last report they did has pretty much been standard. I looked back through the reports online, and it's, averaging fair condition. And it's old, so I get that. So they're going to be on site to do that. I do think that it's time to revisit our discussion that we've had in the past, especially with a new board member, to identify possible dates in May or June to bring in those subject matter experts that would desire the removal of the Lower Swanton Dam, so that we can hear their perspective. And hopefully get them to fund a 3D modeling study of what it would look like if it were not there. Because that's beneficial regardless, with no strings attached, just a conversation. I believe you said yes before, but I want to, before I do the outreach,
Yeah,
to invite them in, I wanted to revisit that discussion with all of you.
I don't see a reason why we wouldn't allow them to come in and say their piece. I don't have a problem with it.
I wouldn't either.
I don't have a problem with it.
Your face said otherwise, but okay. No, I'm just joking.
No, problem with it either, but right now it's a prime example,
Oh,
it's
problem.
doing its weight in gold.
Yeah, I think, but listening is free,
Yeah,
and something good may come out of that regardless of, there's no action item coming out of it, and I'll make that very clear.
right.
Is they have you as an audience to present to in whatever manner they want to. They have a specific, maybe it's an hour presentation. The public is obviously invited, and it's not a both sides. It's not an argument. It's just to become more educated from their perspective. Okay, I will make that happen then.
Always a good conversation.
MVU tours, it's that time of year. That's that time of year for the semester. We had four MVU classes here today for fire and police. Good group, just good group.
Good.
I think there were like 14 in one, 7 in the other, but good interaction on both sides. None of them wanted to be police officers, but I think we may have yet turned a recruit over there on the other side for cadet program. We'll see. But
What age group were they all?
all seniors.
All
So
seniors.
it's very clear, this is, and we get every senior, it's a mandatory class. So whether it's last semester or this semester, they must take this. But it's kind of cool, every senior in that school comes through this building and goes to Hydro.
That is interesting.
I mean, that's,
Wasn't our.
you
way
look
back
at the
in day.
number of MVU students we have as employees. I mean, you never know, it might be 10 years down the road, but it's good to educate them as to what we do.
Perfect example right here.
And are we working with Richard Barwin for the Hydro Scholarship?
Yes,
Okay.
we have a candidate, we have to go up and have that meeting to make sure it's somebody that we support as well.
Yep.
There is only one candidate at this point,
Okay.
better than last year.
I know, we'll have to dig you up one.
You did, you might have to do it again, you'll see. Fire department, so they did receive payment for their old engine, and they've been active with numerous calls recently, and they continue to recruit new members and cadet members. So anybody that wants to join, there's still some room, I think 3 or 4 slots available over there, so love to see you. Moving to the police department, we could say this minute, as I sit here, we're fully staffed. So this week, Tyler Cooper, former officer Tyler Cooper, is back with us in a full-time capacity. And we added a part-time officer, Jacob Kelleher, who started attending the part-time police academy today. So remember, because of the situation with the SRO, the elementary school SRO, we technically don't have a full-time opening on the books until July. We're really taking a closer look at financing to see if we can move that timeline up a little bit. So that is to be determined, but even with that position, we're very confident that we'll be able to say we'll be one of, let's say, 2 or 3 organizations in the state that are fully staffed. So we're back there, and that's kudos to the chief and his leadership and everything that they're doing. So that's a good thing. Any questions so far?
Can't wait for me to hire on then.
No, not yet. Well, it would be the reverse. Sir, would you like to be in the police
You
department?
know, I'm seriously gonna consider it.
Okay,
think you
then
should.
apply. And let's make it happen. Moving on to the electric department.
Others didn't.
It's never gonna work.
No,
Wait, I didn't have you almost convinced at all.
This is a better job.
Fair enough. Our electric department team's leadership in particular spending a lot of time working with the federal government on the quote for the scope of work that's going to be required for the upgrade for the new customs border crossing. It's a ways away, but it'll be an interesting project. Working with a contractor, PLM, on an assessment of the entire system. That part should be happening soon.
There's a whole laundry list of stuff that Darren has to get.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say,
So
Yeah.
Darren,
that email went to me and then went to
Yep.
him a while ago.
Yeah. So pole upgrades, if you've been up on Rousseau Road, depending what part of Highgate you grew up in. There's a few other areas. They're doing a whole bunch of pole upgrades there. And then we are working consistently on a regular basis with Connor Contracting on the progress of the new building. So we still are on pace to break ground when anticipated, which is in April. KAS, our environmental contractor, was on site and they did the wells for evaluation, paid for again. Thank you. Shout out to regional planning. $20,000 grant from them to pay for that. So we're ready and excited to get started.
Results from the tests?
Not yet. And really it's to set up the system and the process for how you deal with the frac tanks, and nobody knows until we get in there what the water flow is like, what it's going to look like, it'll be testing as you go. KAS will be on site to do that. So we're hoping it's less remediation required than we wanted, because that will significantly reduce our cost. So that'll be a good thing. Okay, I'm almost done. Public Works. So they are continuing to work on meter pits as time allows. They just completed a large one in the cemetery and one on Palm Shore Road. They got several more in the queue to do as the weather improves. Massive amount of frost in the ground. The one in the cemetery, 5 feet.
they said they had to
It's really was a
like
cold,
alternate between drilling, digging.
colder winter than people thought.
Yeah.
That's why you're seeing the roads look like they do. The parking lot looks like it is. And, talking to Dean Ryan, I think we're gonna see, I hate to say it, it doesn't matter. With this, the ground doing this, you're gonna see issues. You're gonna see all kinds of issues with valves, with hydrants, and with water lines, and all
I
like
went
that.
down the intersection down here this morning in
He's
front of
Same way.
store, across from the library.
Yeah, so that was, we
Over the
were parked
weekend.
there all day because we didn't want tractor trailers to run over it. So they basically made some repairs to that location. I don't specifically know what, because it was a little bit of a crazy day, but I know they parked that there and had to put somebody in it.
until.
Is that the sewer issue that they were having over
No,
the weekend? Or
no.
is it different?
Catch
Nope.
basin for stormwater.
Yeah, it's definitely not sewer. So, street sweepers already seen action.
I saw it out.
A neighboring town's truck, I won't name names, cause it's just, it happens, left, SLC and forgot, and like they were spilling the whole way.
Oh.
And that street sweeper with fairly decent sized stones made short work of that.
Wow.
That would have been a shovel and a broom not
Yeah.
long ago. So it is, it's parked on the lower level, it's ready to go, it might see some use pretty soon. And good thing, because we had to mix a lot of salt and sand, so there's more material on the roadways than there usually
Yeah.
is. So we're looking forward to that. Shooting over to water, water team did a bunch of stuff. They completed interior winter maintenance, they painted, and then they continue to troubleshoot several chemical pump issues. However, and this is, if any of the other departments are watching this, get ready, and you're gonna hear it at the leadership meeting. Go to our website, go to Village, go to Projects, so it's swantonvt.gov, Village, and then Projects, and they list with pictures everything that they've done down there since January 1st of this year. Big comprehensive list.
Very nice.
So we're looking for every department to perhaps
Do the same.
replicate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how about Avery's exam? Did he?
No,
No. Okay.
next time.
All right.
It's hard.
No,
So
I agree. I'm just
it's,
was curious.
what we're discussing is the highest level in the state of Vermont, the level 5 wastewater exam,
Yeah.
that about 15 to 20% of has questions related to digesters and other equipment that we do not even operate in Vermont, and it's a national test at a national standard. So you're really going in and almost your top score guessing is like an 80, just because of the magnitude of the test, stuff they don't experience. So last but not least, wastewater. So the project's truly in its final stages. It looks like it's funny just to look on the camera down there during the day now. You have everybody on site because they want to get it done. They want to move on to other jobs. So big push primarily in the filter building. So the Blue Pro folks that are the manufacturers of the filters were on site last week. They're on site this week. They're pre-commissioning, and hopefully they'll be at the point where they can sign off relatively soon. So you're seeing siding, you're seeing plumbers, you're seeing everybody down there right now, electrical for the final push. And honestly, can't wait to have them out of there. And for all the right reasons. It's just, it's time. It's extended. The last work will be on the parking lot there. So that's all that we have going on in the village of Swanton.
That's a lot, though.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a good list.
Yep.
For a little village, that's a mighty lot of stuff.
Yes.
Number 18, necessary?
17.
17. Any other necessary business?
I have some stuff.
Right, Lynn?
So our audit, I gave the auditors, the go-ahead over the weekend that they can issue it final. They will be coming to one of your future meetings. I should have, once I get the final audit, which I should be getting, I hope this week, I'll shoot you guys out the email with the, soft copy of it. But they're gonna come to one of your meetings to talk to you guys about the audit. It went fine. We didn't have any adjustments other than the ones that, because we have it so close to the first of the year, there's always adjustments that we have because we've got to book AP and we're waiting on power bills and that sort of stuff. But the auditors didn't have any adjustments that they proposed. It is an unqualified opinion, which is the highest opinion you can get. The other thing we've got going on is last week, Darren and Jody, myself and Bill all met with Ken Nolan from VEPSA and Sean Ennerline from the Department of Public Service for a muni assessment. So this is something new that the Commissioner, Carrick Johnson, wants. He's going to each one of the utilities, or Sean's going.
We got to go first.
And we got to go first, even though we didn't want to go first. There is multiple pages of stuff that they're looking for us to gather, and we have to have that all to them before the 1st of June. And some of it's pretty easy, some of it's like
It's a lot of homework.
3 to 5 years worth of our audits and our SAS 115 letter, which your SAS 115 letter is your management letter, which typically only goes to management and the boards, but they're requesting it. I'm not worried about ours. Ours have been clean. And we've gotta go through, they want, like, if you've had deferred maintenance, they want your depreciation schedules, they want your continuing property records, which I told them very few people probably have continuing property records. We don't. We have our depreciation schedule and that's it. But it's gonna be pretty labor intensive to get all this stuff together. And there's this is metrics that they're gonna want. Like, they want your debt to equity ratio, and there's a bunch of ratios that they want. But we spent 2 hours with him. They went to another utility Friday, and they had another one today. And I don't know what he's got scheduled out after that, but it's
We'll keep you posted. It's really in its early stages, but I am not offended by this at all. It's an opportunity. Candidly, if municipal power cannot reach a certain standard, we better get there. We should be held accountable.
Exactly.
And there was nothing offensive about this problem, except perhaps a very truncated timeline that's a little onerous. But
so, I mean, it's like to get everything together. I mean, and actually the June deadline was farther out than what the original one was. And, you know, this time of the year is busy for the finance people in all these utilities. So to even get stuff out by the 1st of June is gonna push it for some. You know, I mean, I can't get my head above water right now because I think my workload grows every day. I don't seem to get enough ahead. So this is coming on, the month of March is when all of our reports to property valuation are due, which is not as easy as it used to be. They've added a whole bunch of layers to that. So it's, we'll get there. I mean, I don't think we're gonna find anything glaring for us. And I think that in several instances on the list, it's stuff that we already send to them, but it's typical big government, right? Like, this hand doesn't talk to this hand, so we're sending the report to this department, and they keep it like this, but this individual over here needs it, but doesn't know these people have it. So it's a matter of them figuring out, like, how they can make some stuff multi-purpose. You know, we send it here, and whoever needs it can get a hold of it. So, and they're gonna learn, you know. Sean actually used to work for VEPSA, and Commissioner Johnson came from Belco, so he came from the transmission world. So, you know, they need to see what the distribution utilities can get them and what they can't. So that's all I have.
Excellent work on the audit,
Thank you.
everybody, and good luck with the other step 2 part of this. Any other necessary business?
Yes,
Neil?
I'd just like to say kudos to the downtown merchants. Merchants Row is booming. We're gonna have some new businesses on Merchants Row. Plus, I heard this weekend that we have renamed Canada Street section to Golden Row, because all of the businesses that are there, not just the girls, but Jeff Domi too, they all have golden retrievers, and they had a picture on Facebook that they're renaming that section the Golden Row instead of Merchants Row on the other side. So there's a lot of enthusiasm in our downtown, and I hope it keeps increasing. So that's all I have to say.
Is that it, everyone? Okay. All right. Good luck to all the emergency response people over the next couple of days.
I'll make a
Thank you.
motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right, we have a first and a second to adjourn.
Who seconded that? Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Aye.